there, friends. So I often get the question of how did I ever decide to start a Mary Kay business and also be in my business working it for over 20 years? Like how does that happen? And I think people ask that question because they know that I was a tomboy before Mary Kay, and they know that I studied economics and finance and business, and seemingly from the surface, what I'm doing now has nothing to do with that. They also, if they knew me when I was growing up, they knew I was one of the shyest people that they knew. And if they remembered and were in Girl Scouts with me, they would know that I was like petrified to even sell Girl Scout cookies. And I had to send the order form into my mom's work just to get like the minimum number of sales. So yeah, this was pretty much the furthest thing from my radar. So I did work for about 7 or so years in corporate America. It was like investment banking, some marketing, then finance again, all that kind of thing. Spreadsheets. Like that's what I did. I was kind of like staring at a screen all day. Yes, there was a little bit of human interaction, but ultimately, it was a bit frustrating because I would work really hard on something and then it just wouldn't get done. It was like, oh yeah, corporate, the executives, they don't want to do that project, whatever. So you kind of wondered, what impact am I having on this world? And it was around that time that I started having a family with my then husband, and we had our first child, and was kind of doing the whole daycare thing, right? Which at the time, that was the culture. Like, oh, you have a good job, keep the job and put your kid in daycare. All the other women are doing that. And I was like, okay, if only I could go back and tell that young mother what I know now. But anyway, she actually started to have some, pretty serious health issues. Started out not too serious, but then kind of got worse, developmental delays, all of that. So we had to make the decision for me to stay home, which I actually kind of deep down wanted to do anyway. Not that that was any easier than going in and working that job. Being a stay-at-home mom is very challenging, especially when you have a child with a disability, which mine ultimately did end up having. So I was isolated. I was frustrated, exhausted, but I was happy in the sense that I was with her, and then ultimately her younger sister as well. But just kind of, I think there are different types of energy. I was pouring a ton of energy into them, but there was that other thing that was lacking. So when I went to the Glamour Night and tried Mary Kay products, it's actually the second time I tried them in my life. I had been a customer before, and something just clicked there with the way that I saw the women just happy and confident and achieving things. And like, just, even if they weren't like baller, like 6 figures, which a couple of them were, but some of them were more like, okay, I'm making extra money. And, just whatever level they were at, there was that confidence of winning and achieving something and being recognized for it too. So between all of that, as well as when I finished with the event, my skin felt freaking amazing, because even though I had been a customer before, I was only using one product. I was only using moisturizer. I wasn't using that full set, and I wasn't using all the makeup that I got to try. So when you kind of put it together, it works really well. But the problem was, if I were to have remained a customer and bought all of those things, that wouldn't have worked, because being down to one income, which we were in our household by then, there was no way we had it in our budget for me to buy all those products at full retail. So when I heard that as a consultant, you can actually save 50% on your products once you activate, and you have, which activating was super simple. I don't want to get into details here, but very minimal to activate. And they only do that because it's not a Costco membership, right? You have to have some respect for the business side of it, but super simple to get your products and save. So in a sense, you're making money immediately because you're saving all that money on your own products. And then you have the opportunity to share the products with other people. that part was scary, but I saw what was happening there, and it was like the training was being shown to me right then and there. So I could tell that there was a ton of training and support. And the women who were teaching the event and sharing it were, I mean, I could tell that they were very kind, very sweet, but they were also brilliant. So I trusted it. And I also trusted the fact that the company at that time, it wasn't quite, obviously, because it was 20 years ago. Well, today the company has been around now for 63 years. And that is a lot of longevity. That really is. So proven company, proven business plan. That's where my business degree came in handy, because I was able to look at everything and say, yeah, this really makes sense. So this isn't just one of those businesses where it could go out of business next month. It's really rock solid, has no debt. And so I felt very, very comfortable with that. And as well, also that there was really no risk to starting that business, because let's say even if I had only put in, as far as orders, my own products, okay, let's say maybe a little bit more than that, just to say I was going to try the business side of it. If at any time in that first year I changed my mind, there's a 90% buyback fee. So Mary Kay would give me 90% of my money back and only charge the 10%, only withhold the 10%, because all they're doing is taking the product back that you didn't open and destroying it. So I was like, that is very generous, So anyway, so I said, you know what, let me give this a shot, because this could be my chance to really build something and have a career, but still be there for my kids all the time and whenever I want to, and really just build my own schedule. So over the past 21 years, yes, there have been great things money-wise. I'll just show you this to keep your attention. Money, money, money. Yes, that's great, but that's really just part of it, okay? So I went from frumpy to fabulous. I went from being worn out to winning, having chances to win, which is so exciting. I went from feeling lonely to feeling liked and appreciated. Who can get behind that, right? From unfulfilled to unstoppable, and from broke to badass. And lastly, I went from feeling exhausted to feeling energized. Because like I said, there's that two kinds of energy. I could work my Mary Kay, and then it's like, yeah, but then when I'm with, let's say I take a fraction of that time and I'm taking care of children or taking care of my daughter with a disability, I'm just as tired in like 1 hour of that versus say 8 hours of working Mary Kay. So there is energy for it. And gosh, so many other things, confidence, friendships. But in the interest of not making this video too long, I hope you like my story. Just let me know what you think. I'll put a couple questions or a survey in there, and really, really value your feedback. Thanks. Have a great day.